was completely unique. They broke the mold when they built him.
If it was negotiating a deal, collecting money, organizing a sale, failure was not an option.
He had a lot of courage, a lot of guts.
He never gave up. He just had this kind of inherent ability to push forward no matter what the obstacles were. He was a fun, unique, stubborn guy.
So my dad was raised in Kamloops, British Columbia. His dad was a doctor, and his mom and dad died when he was like 9 and 10 years old of tuberculosis.
My dad was orphaned and moved to Canada to live with his aunt and uncle when he was a young teenager, and he hunted for subsistence until he went to World War II.
He was 17 when Pearl Harbor was bombed. He enlisted, went in.
Came through World War II, was a combat hero, had all kinds of medals.
His way of working, leading the business, very explicitly referred back to his military experience and style.
I think he equated the military a little bit to rankings within the business, and he was the guy in charge, and therefore he was the commander.
There was an auction in Denver at the time in 1951 or something like that. And they kind of looked at this auction, and then this other guy was an auctioneer, Bill Johnson, and they said, gosh, we should start this up and do something like this in Seattle.
They had a Ford account, they had Chrysler, they had a dealer business. It wasn't a very big auction, but it was successful. It was making money. And they came to my dad and said, we need to get rid of Bill, he's worthless. My dad said, there's no way, I'm loyal to this guy, there's no way. So he didn't think anything else of it, and then he went on a moose hunt in the fall of 1960. And when he came back, they had come to Bill Johnson and did the same thing, and they basically locked him out.
He had 3 partners, and they had merged their stock to form one entity, and they fired him and then as a partner and hired him back for $1,000 a month to be the general manager. And so he told them to pound it and walked out, and he went across the street and put up a circus tent.
The phone was in my mom's name, and so my dad just called the phone company and said, hey, we moved across the street. So they're in a circus tent. They shut off the phones across the street on East Marginal Way, and the phone started ringing, and my dad answered the phone, South Seattle Auto Auction, and we've moved across the street, and sale day's now this, and they went up against him.
And so he did that for 3 months, and he broke his old partners and bought back his business for $125,000. He raised it from all of his friends, like $20,000 apiece.
And he walked out the door and he had the deed to the auction, and then he moved back across the street, and they were there from 1960 until 1979 when we moved to Kent, where Manheim, Seattle is now.
One of the things that he loved almost above all else was hunting and enjoying, the meat that he would bring home from those hunting trips.
The way the moose sale started is he just had 500 pounds of meat, which is way more than anybody can eat, and he wanted to write the trip off, so he just decided he would throw a moose barbecue sale, a big promotion.
They built a big pit beside the auction and basically filled it with charcoal, and they sat around all night and just slow roasted the moose for I think it was like a full day, like 24 hours.
And then they served it the next day, and it was his biggest sale. And I think even back then we got up to like 1,000 car consignment, and we would normally do about 300. But the sale would go all day and all night through 2 lanes, and the guys would eat their moose, and then he just kept doing it. And he got a moose for every single year till he died, pretty much.
Serious as he was about getting the business done and making deals, his love and concern for the people that were part of his team was was remarkable.
Well, he loved hunting. He loved the auction business. He loved people. And a few things he told me, he said, sometimes things will get so bad you think they can't get any worse. And then they'll turn around, get so good you don't think they can get any better. And, my life has gone through cycles like that. And I learned that from him.
He really did forge a lot of the groundwork of making the auto auction business a legitimate business in the Northwest. And so he forged a way of credibility for the auction business that I think, we all try to adhere to today. So I really think that on a business side, his contribution to the industry is huge, especially in the Northwest.
He had the courage and had the guts to start a big business and make it go and bring us into the business. I'm very proud that Bobby and his boys are carrying it on. I'm in the real estate business now. But the McConkey name was a big deal then, and it's going to be a big deal for a long time in the future, this auction business.